you doing, my friends? Shandabear here. And I'm going to tell you about this guy, all right? I'm going to change his name. We're going to call him Pi Squared, all right? So Pi Squared was perhaps not the sharpest knife in the rack, all right? We grew up with him. His family was well known. His father worked at the post office, and just very interesting. But he had, I don't know what kind of issues as a child. I really couldn't tell you. But one of the things he used to do was he used to break into places. He had this thing about breaking into places. But it never went well for him. This wasn't the guy where things worked out. So there was this place in Manchester, New Hampshire. It was called Schwartz. It was a paper recycling place. And he was going by. And he saw some sort of safe. He saw a safe. There was nothing in it. It was for documents and things like this. But he saw a safe, and he got it in his head. He was going to break in there. He was going to bust open that safe. And, whatever, dreams of treasure and whatever. Well, there was nothing in the safe. But in any event, he was going to go. So he breaks into the place, and the police catch him. Okay. They catch him. And they put him into, at the time they called them reform schools, and then they changed it to the Youth Development Center, YDC. I don't know what terms they use now for that sort of thing, reformatory, whatever. But they sent him in there. But he escapes. Okay, so he escapes and makes a beeline to this place called Schwartz. Okay, and he actually gets the safe. It's not a big safe. It's something one person can handle, pick up and move around, but it's not light either. And the police are coming. He can hear them. And he climbs up on the roof. He thinks he can evade the police on the roof. They know he's up there, but he thinks he can evade the police up there. So he climbs on the roof with the safe. So the police come. They tell him that there ain't nothing in the safe. There's nothing in it. It's got documents and stuff. There's nothing in it. He says, "You'll never take me alive, coppers." And he proceeds to jump off the roof of this building with the safe. Now, it's not a tall building. It's one story, and it's actually a low one story. But it's high enough. And he lands, as he jumps, he lands on a chain link fence between his legs. Needless to say, his manhood was hanging out. So, he picked up the safe, picked up his manhood, and pressed it to his lower abdomen and proceeded to run. It was near some railroad tracks. And he starts running down the tracks. He makes, 100 yards, 90 yards. And he collapses. So, they arrest him. They put him back in YDC. And he comes out. So, he never really did get over the safe incident. He would talk about it all the time. I'm going to get that safe and all of this. And everybody's like, just forget about this. There's nothing in it. But in any event, he changed his thieving MO to stealing gasoline, siphoning it. Until one day, and you heard this correctly, until one day, he could not see in the dark while he was siphoning the gasoline. You guessed it. He heard two things. He heard ka and boom. And it blew up in his face. And, but he lived. He lived to tell the tale. So, at that time, I never did hear what happened to him. I didn't even know if he was still alive or whatever. But I've recently found out he is still alive. And they have him in some sort of a convalescent home now. Now, that was in the 70s, 1970s. And he's still alive to this day and in that convalescent home. And it's just another one of those weird situations where there's a person that just did not adjust properly or whatnot. I mean, I can't even explain it to you. But that's the story. So, if you like stories like this, and I know you do, like, comment, subscribe.